Hello. Welcome, welcome. Hi, everyone. Oh, sorry. Electronics in the background. Hi, I am Sari Kimball. I am the creator of Food Business Success, and I help people start and grow their packaged food business. So, super excited to be on today. It is 2022. We are halfway or so into January, and I thought this would be a great time to come back. Last year's trends, consumer insights video was very popular. So we're back again for 2022, jumping in to talk about what's going on this year and what are some trends in the food industry. What are things you can expect as we go throughout the year? Now, obviously, it's been a little bit of a crazy year. We're in COVID still and dealing with the new virus, the new strains, and all of those things. COVID in this industry has, I mean, it's impacted our food industry tremendously from how we're eating, right? That we're not going out as much. We're definitely cooking inside in our homes a lot more. We're bored, some of us, and so we're looking for new ways, new things to do. It's also an immunity thing, right? Like people are looking for functional food. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But one of the biggest impacts, of course, has been on supply chain and all of the headaches in there, right? Of getting packaging or getting ingredients. It's also really affected our labor market as well. So by far, yes, absolutely. The food industry has been highly, highly affected in some ways, very positively, and other ways it's been very challenging due to COVID. But given that that's just our landscape, that's what is happening around us, that's our circumstance. Let's talk about how you can get in front of it and what are things maybe to be paying attention, how to get in front of some of these issues. So, as far as consumers go, doing some research and kind of reading up on people's reports, kind of the big ones, the big brand, the big names and reports. People are generally feeling more adventurous. They're feeling daring. Daring was a word that came up a lot, and kind of outspoken. Now, some of this stuff was taken like summer, right? So I don't know. Optimistic was one of the words, but you could argue maybe January. People aren't quite so optimistic right now, but this too shall pass. So I think understanding where your consumer is at, creative expression is really still hot, very much trending, right? People are looking for ways, whether it's they said TikTok logins are up 54%. People are like wanting to express themselves. Um, how can you nurture people's creativity, their desire for more adventure, for like relieving their boredom to some extent? Um, and right now, even though we are in the middle of, some lockdowns again and some changes in COVID, that there's still this very strong desire for novelty that's trumping security. People are pursuing purpose. So when you think about your brand, how could you kind of use that messaging? How could you be a part of their journey as they are searching for novelty, as they are pursuing their purpose, as they are looking for ways to be more creative and that self-expression, right? So are there ways you can position yourself? Um, Also, self-care is a necessity now, right? From our mental health, right? How we're dealing with COVID and the isolation or loneliness or kind of just all the things that have come with it, the fears and things like that. So there's the mental side, but then there's also our physical side. Like, are we taking care of ourselves? Um, Physically better? Are we, using food as medicine? Those kind of things. So self-care as a necessity, not just an indulgence, not just like a bubble bath, right? Like, no, if no one else is going to take care of us, we need to take care of us. And it's really interesting. I thought this was fascinating that Gen Zers are saying no much more often to social activities in exchange for me time. I thought that was super interesting. I would think of that group as being fairly social, but during this kind of uh, COVID time, pandemic time, saying no to more social activities. So the next insight, so that's kind of more consumer insights, like where your customer might be coming from, and things that to give you pause and think about how you can, um, you know, seize the opportunity. Right? We don't want to be inauthentic, but how can you show up as a brand that can serve people where they're at, right? We offer value. That's how we make money as a brand, is by offering value. And if this is what people are looking for, how can you make some small changes, maybe in your messaging, um, right? Like, helping people create more amazing dinners at home, or helping them, create more adventure, right? More novelty. So, the International Food Info Council does a great report, and so I pulled the next pieces, and this is more about kind of product specific flavors, things like that that are happening. So I thought this was really great. So the categories so the buckets that they talk about are wellness, nostalgia, flavor, necessity, and sustainability. That those are really the driving trends this year, when we look at the food industry, more specifically. So, wellness, that's probably pretty obvious, right? We have immunity, as I talked about with self care, um, that people are being a little more cautious of claims, and really wanting to educate themselves more. They're really looking for transparency. So be very careful, just in general. I will just want, a little caveat to be very careful with claims that you are making, not only from a trust piece with your consumer, but opening yourself up to litigation. I'm working with a client right now on some claims, and we're working with an attorney. We're making sure that we are, on the up and up, and we are meeting FDA compliance, and we're not going to open ourselves up to litigation. But coming back to wellness, so also stress management, moving away from indulgences. There was kind of that initial like lockdown. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to eat cheese and wine, drink wine, right? And people are like, wait, I got to get my body into wellness. I want to feel good. Maybe it's weight loss, getting fit, getting healthy, whatever that is, right? So we're still seeing the trend going towards less alcohol. I mean, that's been a trend for couple of years now, but looking at like they call it functional fizzes, right? Like that our beverages are, not taking away our immunity like with alcohol, but actually offering some functional benefits. Beauty from the inside out. So not only am I healthy, but I'm also like maintaining my youthful glow, right? With collagen or different herbal supplements that are going to help us, beauty from the inside out. And then, of course, brain food and our mental well being. So I thought those were really great from the wellness standpoint. Nostalgia. Nostalgia is a driving trend. That simple, no fuss, home cooking, just like grandma used to make, right, is still a trend, certainly coming out of COVID. Um, we are going to see, and we did see this last summer, the resurgence of the dinner party and the entertaining, but maybe not as much of the going out, right? So kind of smaller groups, but wanting to connect with people, wanting to commune with them, have that community, and having just like really quality, but comfort food still. Flavor. Flavors just in general, like big flavors, kind of exotic flavors. I was reading in a couple of places all about like kind of Japanese flavors are very in right now. Um, Uzu. There was one kelp and seaweed. There was one I hadn't even heard of, called, I'm looking now if I can't, curcumin, I think. It wasn't cumin, but I don't know if I can even read my writing. That's the problem. But they were also talking about this sixth taste. So I wanted to look up that a little bit more, but umami is like the fifth taste, and now apparently there's a sixth taste. So, um, but people are really missing travel. They're missing engaging their senses, trying different foods, right? And so we've definitely seen more flavor, people wanting to lean towards more flavorful foods, more exotic flavors. So they also mentioned hibiscus and turmeric as some other kind of leading flavors. We've definitely seen a lot of turmeric. It's also a wellness piece, right? I just bought some like golden milk powder for making like an afternoon beverage. Um, we're also seeing with flavor, definitely those strong flavors like ethnic foods, but also seeing a reduction in sugar and people trying to reduce calories. So a lot of people are moving towards kind of the keto friendly, using allulose or monk fruit and some of those things. So, there's upsides and downsides. I work with a lot of keto brands for sure who use those different sweeteners. Um, some people are like, these are the most amazing things. I can eat all my cookies and and candies and all of the things that I love, right? My ice cream, all that stuff, because of, using these alternative sweeteners. But then you also have the other side of the fence where people are like, I want natural. Like, I don't want these sugar alcohols. I want, like, just give me a high quality and maybe make it less sweet, or just use high quality sugars, use honey or coconut sugar, or, some of those kind of things. So, um, you're definitely gonna have some haters if you go into the reduced sugar keto, but you're also gonna have a lot of people who love it, right? And are looking specifically for that. So that's what's under flavor. And then necessity, and I just took this as like, we just got to deal with the stuff, right? And so, what are the things that are coming out of it? QR codes, those aren't going away anytime soon. We're all professionals, right? And just tech in general, that it's helping to facilitate Zoom calls and all of our things, right? And so, what are the things that are necessities in our life to facilitate what's going on, for us to be able to eat, for us to be able to produce the foods that we're wanting to? So, certainly e commerce, ghost kitchens, they mentioned. So, and then I have another one that I can't read my writing. Oh, urban gardens. That's what it was. Urban gardens. So things that are just kind of, fundamental to how we can operate under these circumstances. And then lastly was sustainability. And I thought this was a really interesting term, called reducitarian. And see, you might have seen it around, or it's definitely becoming a catchphrase. But it's not necessarily somebody who's 100% plant based, 100% vegan or vegetarian, but they are looking to kind of reduce their impact, and so that could be by eating more plant based, to reduce our carbon footprint. But it's just kind of generally reducing like our meat consumption, or high energy using products, high packaging, a lot products with a lot of packaging, things like that. um, there was also a term climatarian, so again very climate change focused, low carbon, of course, social sustainability. So plant-based is still trending for sure. But you might want to frame it. I'm working with a plant-based sauce right now, and we're kind of getting away from really talking about vegan or vegetarian, but just more focused on like, it is plant-based. It's also highly allergen. It's allergen friendly, allergen free, and so we're putting ourselves in that category. We're like, um, we're not using as many resources, and high energy output resources, right, as some other products that do. because we're plant-based. So it's an interesting way to frame it, and you may want to consider that if you have a plant-based product, that you don't always want to just be so hardcore vegan, vegetarian. So those are kind of what's driving the food industry. And then, of course, a couple quick Shopify little nuggets, tidbits. They were talking about that 47% of people are more swayed to buy products from brands that have like a local presence. So even if they can't shop locally, like in person as much, they are looking to support brands that are like local to their area. So I thought that was really interesting. And then just, of course, the e-commerce is way up, and people are looking to support brands that align with them and their values. So I would say more than ever, if you don't know what your value proposition is, if you don't know what your brand identity is, and kind of your place in the market, and if you're trying to be everything to everyone with your product, this is the time to shift that. You need to know exactly who you are, exactly what your brand stands for. This is what I do with my clients when we go through a program like CPG VIP, or I work with them one on one, is that we just did this. So we just had a call earlier today where we went through with our new clients in CPG VIP to really understand, what are their brand values? What do they stand for? Why are they here? Why does your customer trust you? And that is, understanding that and being able to communicate that really effectively is what is going to set you apart in a really busy e-commerce space, right? Because I have lots of clients who just make the assumption that if you put up a website, will come, right? And we do all this work to build the website and get it all pretty and get all the products and get it all functional. But then we actually have to stand out. How do you stand out? Well, you're gonna have to put a stake in the ground and really like own your space and own your values. I mean, think about the products and the brands that you love. You probably love ones that really speak to you, which mean that they're gonna either piss some people off, or they're just, other people are gonna be like, it's like not my thing, right? And so that's what we want. So stop. If you can learn anything from this, take anything away, stop trying to be everything to everyone. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see my clients make, all the producers that I work with inside Food Business Success. So um, definitely spend this is some good deep work to do. And I am opening up Food Business Success very, very soon. So we have a Whip Up Your Business workshop that's next week, so you can still come to that. It's only $27. Go to foodbizsuccess.com/start, and you can join me in that workshop. And then I'm opening the doors to Food Business Success here very soon. And we have that exact questionnaire that I go through with clients, where you can identify your values, you can identify your brand strategy and your identity and who your target customer is. So, really, really important for you to be able to stand out amongst all the noise. I mean, it's never been easier to start a packaged food business, but it also means that there's a lot more people in it, right? And so it's harder and harder to stand out, and you got to be really clear on that. All right, so that's what I have for you today around trends for 2022. I hope that was helpful. I hope you gained some nugget of wisdom, of information, some takeaway that you can go and put into practice in your food business today. I would love to help you. There's all sorts of links down below in the comments. And come join me inside Food Business Success. We have a ton of fun in there as we build our packaged food businesses. All right, until next time, I will see you later. Have an amazing week.